All right, here we are. Here we go. Final hour of the radio show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Would love to hear from you, 615-737-9986. And as promised, we'll get directly to your telephone calls. Big stories, news items of the day. One, most importantly, is the weather situation in Middle Tennessee. Obviously, it is going to get snowy. That's coming on Saturday. It is going to then get icy. Whether that be freezing rain or sleet remains to be seen. We don't want either of those, but freezing rain, of the two, sleet's better, freezing rain worse, because freezing rain comes down liquid and then freezes like a sheet of ice over everything. Sleet, little pellets. Either way, those are bad things. The expectation is we'll be a little bit locked down for the next day or two after the event, which will go over the course of 2 days. We'll be here for you during the duration. If we need to get in, if there's I would suggest, and I've not heard from New Suit on this matter, and I'm not speaking for Jackson Williams, although I should. I'm not speaking for Ken Weaver. I cannot. But I will say this. If there is inclement weather that endangers the general public, I'm going to do everything I can to be on the radio, because that's what we're here for. What else are we here for if not that? If you do not have power, significant amounts of you now, if it's a one-off or 500 or 1,000 people, but if there are widespread power outages, I would suggest that we'll do everything in our power to be on the radio, because where do you get your information if you don't have power? You've got your phone until your phone runs out of power, and then what do? Well, here's what I would suggest you do. When you go to the grocery store and you're stocking up on milk and bread and eggs, what else do you get at the grocery store during the ice storm there, Jackson? What do you get?
I don't know.
I remember a time way back in the olden days of 1993, Jackson, when you were -6. We had the blizzard of 93, we called it, and it was in Carrollton, Georgia. I was a student at West Georgia College, now called West Georgia University, but back in the day it was just West Georgia College. And my buddy Wayne and I, we knew that the blizzard was coming. They forecast 10 to 12 inches. We received about 12 inches of snow. And so many of us in the theater department decided to gather together at one centralized home, which was big enough to accommodate about 10 people. And we were going to have a big old snow party. All right, you with me so far? This is a true story. You with me
how'd
so
that
far?
go?
It was good. So the storm was coming in overnight. Wayne, my best friend, God rest his soul, no longer with us, but he's my best friend in the world, and he and I were designated as the people that needed to go to the store and get provisions.
What are provisions?
Food and, provision. We were told to get things that we are going to need for the next day or so.
Beer.
Yeah, so apparently the women in the group thought that that was food. What Wayne and I took that to mean was liquor and beer. And so we came back with a bunch of beer and some wine coolers and some liquor and like 2 bags of chips.
Snacks.
Nobody was impressed. Well, the other guys were impressed, but the women were not impressed. So we had to this is a true story. We came back. We thought we'd done the right thing. They were like, where's the food? We need food. We don't have any food in this house, and we're going to be stuck here for 3 days. So Wayne and I, the next day, had to, and it had snowed so much we could not drive. We had to walk about 2 miles to our apartment. We lived next door to one another. We walked through the blizzard to get provisions in our backpacks, like canned food, tuna, and saltine crackers and whatnot, to provide for our beloved theater troupe. And we did so. At one point on the way back, Wayne fell over and told me to leave him for dead. He actually did that. It was pretty funny. I did not leave him for dead, though. No, I take it back. I did kind of just start walking away, and he eventually got up and walked on his own. But, we do not expect that the conditions will be that dire or significant. But I would encourage you to go ahead and get those provisions. And when you do, get some batteries for that battery-powered radio that I know that you have. Don't you have it? You've got a battery-powered radio, right? Well, where is it? You need to pull it out. You need to dust it off. You need to make sure that it's still operational. And if not, put some batteries in that thing, because if you lose power, you still need information. And if you need information, we're here for you on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. That's the big story of the evening. Secondarily, we're talking about the aftermath of the Minnesota ICE raids and nationally what the liberal reaction has been. Donald Trump was in Davos over the last couple of days. Trump says, look, I'm not going to take Greenland by force. We don't want to take it by force. But then there's a deal hours later after saying we're not going to take it by force. There's apparently a Greenland deal that has been initiated. So we don't have the details on that, but we'll get to them as quickly as we possibly can. In the meantime, Stephen has held for a long time. Scott, hang in there. Stephen, the floor is yours, sir. I appreciate your patience. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. Thanks, man. Great show.
Thank you.
Just real quick comment on Greenland. I got an idea to see if this has got a nice ring to it. What do you think? New Greenland.
New Greenland?
New Greenland. I mean, it's a sales pitch, right? Like We're going to invest. We're going to go up there. We're going to put a McDonald's and a Walmart, some Sam sites, get some submarines out on the coastline there.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have to change the name, Matt. We are going to have to change the name to New Greenland.
Kind of like New York or New Hampshire,
Right,
New Mexico.
exactly.
I get it. New Greenland.
Exactly. Let's do it. All right. So, I don't know. Look, Minnesota, a lot of stuff's bouncing around in my head. I mean, we all know what's going on up there with all the fraud and all the government's messed up and everything else, but I want to focus on what I've been recognizing and the things that take place during certain points in time that are happening that are influencing the majority of the middle group of our voters in our country. They're almost like Minnesota's been like a evil henchman that's been influencing the swing state people and all those people that are in the middle, to bounce back and forth and we're losing votes because of that. So that's my primary worry about all this. We're getting close to the midterms and all this, but it happens again. The George Floyd incident in Minnesota, the kid that was running down the street with the rifle that was shooting people, the 18-year-old security asset or whatever. Now this.
You talking about Kyle Rittenhouse?
Yeah, wasn't wasn't that Minnesota too?
That was Wisconsin.
So
I think.
All these major,
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that was Wisconsin.
Yeah. Oh, it was Wisconsin. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's take that away then. But Tampon Tim, who is going to be the vice president of the United States, it's almost like there's some kind of source of darkness that's coming out of Minnesota, and I have no idea what it is, but it's just weird to me.
Yeah, it is a little bit odd. It's a little bit odd that has been the epicenter of so many of the issues that have gone on. I mean, I would agree with you. Yeah.
Can we send a busload of priests up there to just exercise the whole freaking state? I mean, what do we got to do, Matt? Can we get something done to get rid of this evil in the name of Jesus?
The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus. I mean, come on. But and all this Somali stuff we're seeing, this kid, this influencer, the YouTube kid that's uncovered this Somali stuff going on, and I mean, come on, man. We got to really get some headlights.
Yeah, they're goofy up there, and they've just allowed rampant fraud and abuse of the system, and maybe that's attracted the wrong type of people, and so it kind of builds upon itself. And Stephen, it's a great call. It's a great point that you make, that if you allow these individuals to come into your community legally or illegally, and then they start their voting, and then they vote in individuals into powerful positions in places of government that allow for you to steal out of the largesse of government, to steal from the people, the taxpaying citizens of the state of Minnesota. So, I mean, that then begins to build on itself, because as you steal more, you gain more power and influence, and you have more power and influence to give campaign contributions and whatnot, donations to the wrong type of people. And suddenly you've got Elian Omar, who represents a region of that country without loving the United States of America or really liking the United States of America very much. Scott is next up. Scott, thank you for your patience and a good afternoon, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
So what's the deal about Mount Pleasant? That's where I'm from. That's where I live. That's where I grew up. And are you a resident now?
I am. Yes, sir.
Well, welcome to Mount Pleasant.
Well, thank you.
Or Mount Misery, however you want to call it. I'm retired military. I did 26 years. I've done Iraq, Afghanistan. I've done Border Patrol. And my issue with immigration is I have no problem with anybody coming to our country as long as they do it the right way. But the one issue that I do have and I do not understand, and I'm sure you've seen this in Mount Pleasant since you live there now, Columbia, and it's in every town, is when you go into a Subway, you go into a convenience store or a hotel, they're owned by these people that are from India, Pakistan, and all that. I don't understand how that has happened, because you don't have no more mom and pop stores now where the American people, the tax dollar people, pay their taxes and do the right thing to live the American dream when you have people from other countries that do. I just don't understand that. And I will hang up and listen to see what you say. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Scott, and I hope to see you at Lightning's Barbershop sometime down the road. If you still go, get a little haircut from time to time. That's my new adopted barbershop. I used to go over to a shop in Mount Juliet, and I can't go to the man cave anymore. Too far, so I got to find a new place. So we'll see you down there. We'll, tell tales around the watering hole or whatnot. A lot of those folks, so, this is the story that I've been told is that individuals that come from certain regions of the world, they come over and they're able to get low or no interest loans to secure things like convenience stores or what were traditionally mom and pop style businesses. And those loans are interest free for only a certain period of time until they establish themselves. And then what they do is they roll it over into someone else's name. And so that they continue they delay the repayment or any interest payment on the loan based on the rollovers. I'm not saying this as articulately as I would like, but the basic premise is they're taking advantage of the system that tries to allow for low interest or no interest borrowing of money, particularly for those who come from other parts of the world. And because they've been able to take advantage of some of those loopholes, they're able to secure property that you and I cannot. That's the easiest way that I can tell you what's going on. And before they have to pay money back or before they have to pay interest on it back, they roll it over into someone else's name. Now, many people who own these businesses are incredible, hardworking people that love the United States of America. Let's not suggest that many of them aren't. But they are getting a leg up on American citizens in the way that they are treated when they apply for different loan programs that are eligible to them but not eligible to us. So I'm not attacking the individual. I'm attacking the system. I'm not attacking the person. I love the idea that people come to this country and want to assimilate into this country and want to be a part of this country. And I know so many of those people that do. This is not an anti-immigrant comment. I'm just trying to answer the man's question when it comes to why and how all of this happens. That it is made available to them in a way that it is not made available to natural-born citizens. Now, do they work hard? Hell yeah, they work hard. Many of them do. But they also utilize entire families, and in that family structure, they're also able to, take advantage of the fact that they've got family members that are working, and they pool that money together, and so obviously it's going to cost them a little less money. I hope that answers your question, and I appreciate your telephone call, and thank you for the kind words about my move to Mount Pleasant. Should be a lot of fun. It's 21 after the hour. More calls on the way on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. See if you can on the television side of things. Y'all get the title, the show title reference. That's a pretty good pull by you, Jackson. You're too young to remember that. You ever watch that film? You know what we should do? We should start a thing where on Fridays I'll recommend a movie to you've never seen, and you'll recommend one to me that I've never seen, and then we watch the movies over the weekend and then review them on Mondays. Isn't that a good idea?
Yeah, it would be really fun until one of us inevitably wouldn't watch a movie, a classic.
Oh, come on.
Like Bad Santa, and it would kill the bit.
I mean, how in the world? I mean, no, we'd have to watch the movie. That's a part of the bit.
It is, unfortunately.
The way your headphones are hitting your hair, it looks like part of your hair is coming out. It looks like you've been scalped. There you go. That looks better. 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986 if you'd like to be a part of the show. It is Snowpocalypse now. Let's see if we can continue the snow-themed titles on the television side of things for the rest of the week. We got 2 days to go. 615-737-9986. That's the super text line as well. You can find us always on the good old radio 99.7 FM, and I encourage you once again to get those batteries in your radio. We'll be here if you need us. And then, of course, we're on a variety of apps and platforms such as YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Rumble. That's the television side of things, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Rumble. A great conversation going on there. Folks are offering their opinions about crawdads. You eat mud bugs? Did you answer that question?
No.
Would you?
No.
Like if I gave you, they always stank to me. And somebody, there's a debate going on in the super text line or on the chat feature on the YouTube chat about whether shrimp or crawfish are better. And I just don't see this debate. I don't even see the argument. Shrimp are clearly deveined, clearly the superior seafood. I mean, you eat crawfish when you've got nothing else to eat, in my opinion. I'm not making a matter of taste, a matter of fact, those friends. I don't do that on this show. Doug is in, I don't know where Doug is, but he wants to talk about Greenland. Hey, Doug.
Hey, how you doing tonight, Matt?
Doug, I'm great. I hope you are.
Good. Trying to stay warm and ready for the big storm.
It's coming.
Yes, sir. Hey, I was just talking about Greenland. You know, I think it's more of a thing than, you know, like Chad says, oh, Trump wants it for a golf course, this and that and the other. How he always bashing Trump. But I'm just saying that I think it's more of a military tactic. Don't you? You got China and Russia on each side, and I think they want it. And you know, I think Trump sees more into it than anybody does, you know, that if we don't get it, they will.
Well, presidents past, and not just Donald Trump, but many other presidents in our past have recognized the geopolitical importance of Greenland and have recognized, as we move forward, we recognize more and more the economic importance of Greenland. We need to lessen our dependence on the rare earth minerals that make so many of the products that we have come to depend on in the United States of America. We depend on China for those rare earth minerals. I want to say that it's 70% of our rare earth minerals still come from China in the United States of America, and they're willing to sell. They're willing to sell us those rare earth minerals right now because that's how they make their money. But if our economic war with China escalated into something different, they could cut us off. I mean, we depend way too much on medical, and we depend way too much on rare earth for the Chinese. We depend on the Chinese way too much. So I think it's an economic strategy. I also think it's a geopolitical strategy, and I think it's one that many, many presidents in the past have considered to be of great importance to the United States of America. They just weren't willing to pull the trigger on it. And Donald Trump understands this, and I'll finish up and let you talk here, Doug. Donald Trump understands that if you ask for $1 million, if you want something and that person is maybe considering selling it, maybe not, if you offer big or if you expect big out of them and you come back to the middle or even, less than the middle, then you're still winning if you get what you want. Does that make sense to you?
Well, it does in a way, yeah. But don't you think it has some military value as far as positions?
Yes.
You know,
yes.
like
Yeah,
everybody's always looking at. I got a standpoint here from a nuclear. If we had to fire them off, you know, I'm right here by them, and they're right here by us, and I just think it's more, you know, in a way, not more of, but in a big aspect of a military standpoint. Hey, if I don't get it, they will.
Mm-hmm.
You know. That's the strange thing.
And the Chinese aspect of that might be a little more long term in terms of actually acquiring the property, but certainly positioning ourselves on the property and creating and aiding the Golden Dome in that regard, and then and simply having the ability to position. I mean, frankly, to position nuclear warheads in that region of the world to combat the aggressive nature of the Chinese and even the Russians. Before they get a foothold over there, that's very, very important. I would agree with you.
Yes, and I agree with you, too. And I appreciate your time, Matt, and thanks for your insight on everything.
Well, of course, Doug. Thank you for the call, and thank you for waiting. I appreciate you very much. 615-737-9986. Jackson, do you know how to do do you have access to the chat over there, right? Do you know how to do a poll on the chat?
I do not, unfortunately. I need to learn that.
Yeah, we need to start doing chat polls because there is a continuation of this debate between shrimp and crawfish. And once again, I don't begrudge people what they eat. I don't make a matter of taste a matter of fact. You know how some people are like, oh, so-and-so's nasty or so-and-so's gross. And I just don't. I mean, you eat what you want to eat. I'll eat what I want to eat, and I'll tell you why I think it's better. But I've just never been a crawdad fan. Never been a crayfish fan. You know what I'm not a fan of, Jackson? Lobster.
You know what I am a fan of?
What's that?
Going to the news.
On Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Occasionally during those commercial advertisement timeouts, as I hope you're enjoying some of the comments there, I am perusing your comments over on the Super Text line, and there's so many that come in. Guys, I can't possibly keep up with all of them, and I love you and appreciate you, and I'm glad that you're out there commenting. Jackson's going to figure out how to do the chat poll, and somebody said, don't horn in on Dan Mandy's territory. That's what he said, Dan Mandy. I think Dan Mandy does polls in the morning. He calls it the Daily Dan poll. But I don't think Dan has a corner on the poll market, so I think we could probably manage a poll or two.
He does have a corner on the bald market.
Chad Benson. You see what I'm saying there, Chad Benson?
Yes.
And then 9223 says, and I don't know necessarily what this is referencing. Maybe it's the shrimp, crayfish, crawfish, lobster debate. Once again, I wouldn't turn down a lobster roll. I'm telling you, I would not order lobster. It's just me. Y'all do what you want to do, but I wouldn't order lobster in a fancy restaurant. I wouldn't order lobster as a meal. I've had lobster rolls. I like them. They're all good, but I think it's just because I like butter. I think most people that like lobster, they just like butter. But this person said 9223. Now listen to this. Y'all are going to die. Y'all don't even have a basic knowledge of nutrition. Well, I got a hot tip for you, pal. You're going to die too. None of us come out of this alive. Renee, hang in there. You'll be right after Pete. Maggie's in there too. Is it Maggie? Okay, Renee. Pete, you're up next. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got a buddy of mine who I worked with for like 5 years, over there at American Express. Well, actually, I worked with him for about 15. He was an Indian guy, and he bought a convenience store, okay? And he said he never had to make a payment on it because it's a forgivable loan. As long as you do all your paperwork correctly, you never have to make a payment. And after 5 years, you own it outright. So he turned around, sold it to his brother after 5 years, went back to India for 6 months, came back. Now he's good for another free forgivable loan. And that's how they're owning all this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, I get it. how do we change the rules to favor natural-born Americans is the question.
Eliminate the forgivable loan.
Yeah.
American, we don't get a forgivable loan.
That's exactly. I mean, I would agree with you. Yeah, I think that's how you do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's how they own. I live in Pulaski, and every convenience store is owned by foreigners. All the hotels are. We drove across the country, and my wife, I told her, we'll only stay at an American-owned hotel, all the way to California and up to Washington and back, and she was amazed at how difficult of a task that was going to be.
And you are seeing it more and more and more, and I would agree with you. And once again, I just want to make sure that folks understand, and thank you, Pete, for the call. I just want fairness. I want a level playing field. I want Americans to be treated like anyone else. And if you're in the country illegally, if you're in the country legally, and you love the United States of America and just trying to make a go of it, I'm all about you. I'm all for you. I'm not against you. And there are so many great business owners that are from other countries. I'm not against them. I just want their ability to succeed to be equitable from a playing field standpoint is mine from the jump. I don't want them to be given a head start. That's all. That's all. Renee is next. Hello, Renee. How are you?
Hello. Hold on just one second.
Hey, you there?
Yes.
What's going on,
Okay.
Renee?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I was listening to something the other night, and I think it was Castro who they said, quoting, and it said that you can't really invade the United States except for bellies. And then when you get over here and you get so many people over here, you keep having babies. And the more babies you have, then you keep having babies. And then when you have a certain amount of a population, then you can start making laws, which is kind of what you said earlier. And I just thought that was interesting. That seems to be what's happening.
I believe the Supreme Court is about to make their decision on anchor babies in the United States.
That would be great.
And whether or not the birth of a child occurring here in the United States of America, I mean, the idea of birthright citizenship is being abused, obviously, and that's kind of what you're talking about. And there is a question as to whether or not the Founding Fathers intended for birthright citizenship to be exploited in the way that it's currently being exploited. The Supreme Court heard oral arguments about that last year, and they're set to make their decision at some point. I don't know exactly when that's going to be. I can look it up, but I'm very interested. A lot of my liberal friends want to think that this is a slam dunk because of the 14th Amendment of the Constitution of the United States, and I don't believe that that's the case. I think the 14th Amendment was clearly written as a response to the issue of slavery, and recognizing that and recognizing the context in which they talked about birthright citizenship, I think it remains to be decided whether or not they can continue to do this. But you're not wrong that there are groups of people that are exploiting the idea of coming over, having babies in America, having that anchor them to the United States of America because those babies are then natural-born citizens.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
I just thought that was interesting.
No,
it's talking about
it's a good
making
call.
the laws.
Well, thank you, Renee, for the call, and I appreciate you very much. Maggie is next. Hey, Maggie.
Hey, Mr. Murphy, how are you?
I'm great, Maggie. I hope you are.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So I'm a legal immigrant. I'm a permanent resident of the United States, have been for many years. So I came in under the Clinton administration, and he had the toughest immigration laws. People don't even understand. I was being put through the meat wringer. And so people don't get the facts. They're out there protesting. They don't know what they're protesting. I've been all over the world. I came in and out of the country. I get asked the same questions, my fingerprints taken, my picture taken. And I respect the United States. My husband served this country 20 years. I'm a nurse. And I will say this. every day I see our elderly patients struggling. They cannot afford medication. Or in general, American people, and that should not be like that. I have never been on welfare, never on food stamp. I never asked anything from the government because you should not do that. It's simply wrong. And when you come here, and fraud is one of the number one, crime you will get deported for. You get a whole list what you can do and what you cannot do. And fraud is one of the number ones of committing crime. The fraud, the American people, it's horrible. Because I see in my country, Germany, Mr. Murphy, it's going all to hell, excuse my language. It's the same thing over there. It's a big mess over there. It's overrun, and people coming in and people getting all this money. Our elderly German people struggling. I'm proud to be in this country, and I will fight for this country. I don't run around with my German flag. We have a United States flag hanging on our house, and everybody needs to respect the law. The American people did not ask me to come here. My husband asked me to come here. And also, I have an accent. My third gun, and you've been here 15 years, and you don't speak not a word of English. That's just ridiculous.
Well, I agree, but you are doing it the right way, Maggie. You have the right attitude about it, and you seem. I've said for a long time that people that go through the process, people that do it the right way, people that struggle to get through that stringent immigration process, they're some of the finest Americans I've ever laid eyes on. You are one of the finest Americans in Tennessee today.
Thank you so much. But people really, all these protests out there. In 2018, I had to renew my permanent residence. I went to Homeland Security in Nashville at the airport. I went in there. I probably sat down for 10 minutes. It was completely packed. They brought me back. They did my fingerprints. They took my pictures. They asked me some questions. And they told me to wait. If everything comes back, they give me extension till I get my new card. The whole process, 45 minutes under President Trump, and I was out of there. Get your paperwork together. Do it the right way.
Do it the right way.
It's hard. It's not right to people that do it the right way. And then you come here and you get all this money and you fraud. And I pay plenty of taxes. I pay my taxes out of my check. I pay my taxes every year. But when I see all of this, and I will stand for our veterans because my husband is an American veteran, and I stand for our elderly people. So if you want to protest something, protest to get better health care and help them with medications. Then running out there, to all the people on the left that hear me, get your box of crayons out of your brain. And if you cannot do that, then buy a box of crayons, stay at home, and color your books. Because what you are doing is insanity.
Maggie, listen, keep calling the show. I appreciate how you got here. I appreciate your attitude. I appreciate your spirit, and I appreciate your voice. It is important that we hear voices from people that did it the proper way, that immigrated in the right fashion, and I absolutely love it.
Thank you so much. And to all of you out there, sometimes I don't always agree with President Trump, but I always think, he's not a career politician. He's got German in him. He says the things the way they are, but he means well for the country. So you because the president before Mr. Biden, and I'm not saying anything bad, but holy moly. It was definitely a
where did you said you grew up in Germany?
I grew up in Germany. I'm like an hour from Cologne.
About an hour from Cologne?
Yeah, Cologne. It's like about a couple of hours, but 2.5 hours from Frankfurt.
Oh, okay.
I'm from a small village. I'm a country girl, and I'm still a country girl. Still have horses. Still live out in the country.
Oh, I love it. Whereabouts do you live in Tennessee, Maggie?
I live right on Montgomery and Todd County.
Okay.
So right close to Fort Campbell, yes.
Well, thank you for listening to the show, and thank you for calling me.
Thank you very much,
All
and
right.
respect to all of you. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care.
Good night, Mr. Murphy.
Good night. Have a great evening. I hope that Maggie is our last call of the evening, but I fear that I have to pay off something that I promised to do 2 hours ago. When we return, believe it or not, Mike in Old Hickory is held for 2 hours and 16 minutes. And I told him I'd give him a minute. Let's find out. There's a huge debate about shrimp going on the super text line. Not on the super text line, on the chat feature. Huge debate. I'm trying to spice it up. I was like, jumbo shrimp, what's up with that? Is it jumbo or is it shrimp? I don't know. Mike from Old Hickory, I challenged him. I said, if you hold until the end of the show, you can have the last 2 minutes. This would be his time. He would be on the radio right now. Jackson, tell me I'm lying. He held until 6:58.
Yeah.
And then he hung up 30 seconds ago. What a dope. What an absolute moron.
Nincompoop even.
So Mike held for 2 hours and 20 minutes. I told him I'd make an exception to his ban, and I'd let him have the last minute of the show if he held that long. He held for that long and then hangs up. What a dope. Thursday edition on the way. Speaking of you big dope, Mark Levin is coming up next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I've had fun today. I hope you have. For Jackson Williams, Ken Weaver, and the rest of the crew, thank you for being with us. Matt Murphy speaking and saying, have a wonderful evening. Hug your loved ones. So long, everybody.